Perimeter Solutions has used phosphate as the active ingredient in its fire retardant since 1963. On this episode of the Solutions That Save podcast, we talk with Perimeter Solutions Director of Research and Development, Melissa Kim, about the advantages of phosphate as a fire retardant, all that and more on today's episode of Solutions That Save, a fire safety podcast from Perimeter Solutions.
Hello, I'm your host, Dan Green. Welcome to Solutions That Save, a fire safety podcast from Perimeter Solutions, helping save property, natural resources, critical infrastructure, and lives. May is Wildfire Awareness Month. Melissa Kim, our guest today, grew up in Southern California and became aware of the devastation wildfires can cause at an early age. Today, she talks with us about her work in fire safety and how the industry has evolved to deal with the growing challenges presented by wildfires since she joined Perimeter Solutions. But first, Melissa starts off today's episode with some background on herself.
So I lived in Southern California my entire life. I went to school here in Southern California in UC Irvine. I have personally seen the devastation that wildfires have caused. I started developing fire safety products in 2004 as a lab tech, and I continued to grow in my role, eventually becoming project coordinator and then R&D manager and eventually director of R&D. So I basically held every position in the R&D department. I've had the privilege of learning from Larry Vandersall, who was a pioneer of the firefighting chemical industry and served for about 64 years. And that's knowledge you just can't get from anywhere else. I'm very fortunate to have had that opportunity to work with him.
And you mentioned 2004, which is when you started working at Perimeter. What changes have you seen in the fire industry since you started there?
As we all know, wildfires continue to grow significantly in both number and size, and the season is getting longer, almost becoming year-long. And to support that growth, I've seen the industry grow with not only larger aircraft, faster aircraft, more aircraft. Response times are faster to prevent the spread of the fires earlier. And we as a company have grown significantly to help that. For 60 years, we've been doing this, and the increasing demand that I've seen and our capability to keep up with that demand has been amazing. When I first started, we were a small R&D group, and we have nearly doubled our size since then to help support the industry. We continually strive to develop new products that will help support others in the industry, from superior retardant color to help pilots tie in lines to better handling of product for those mixing and loading the aircraft. Anytime we find any opportunity to improve our products, we do.
And when you're talking about improving, your fire safety solutions, could you tell us about the process of bringing a product from the idea stage to completion?
We're always looking for ways to improve our products, and ideas come from a variety of sources. Sometimes ideas come from customer requests. Other times it's in response to a change in the industry standards or, for example, the U.S. Forest Service specification. And sometimes it's just an idea someone comes up with, whether it's one of our chemists or someone from the field or just a random idea. And then once we have that idea, we work to meet the performance goals that we put in place for ourselves. What are the expectations? What are we looking to achieve? And then there's dozens of tests that we complete to ensure that the product meets those requirements. We have an amazing R&D group who work together with other teams in the organization, such as manufacturing and field personnel, to get the work done and to develop the products that we eventually see in the field. So it really is a group effort. It's not so much just R&D in a bubble creating these products. It really is a company-wide, industry-wide process.
And you guys have been making phos-chek since 1963, but one of the most recent versions of it is phos-chek LCE20FX. How does that retardant compare to previous versions of it?
So LCFX is a liquid concentrate product that we developed to replace our current LC95 product line that has been used for the last 20 years. We're constantly making our products better. And LC20FX was developed to be safer for the environment, including lower fish toxicity. It also has better handling and storage stability than the LC95 line, and as well as lower disposal costs associated with it. So the team did a really great job of developing this product to have several improvements over the current LC95 line.
And all your products, all your retardant products are based on phosphate as the active ingredient. Can you talk about the benefits of phosphate being used in fire retardants?
Phosphates have been proven in many studies to be the most effective fire retardant there is. You can see multiple studies going back 60 years on this. So time and time again, it's proven itself. This is especially important when developing products because obviously you want to use the most effective ingredient there is. There's absolutely no reason to use anything but the best to get the results that you need. We've always used phosphates in our products. This is the reason why we have used it for the last 60 years. And for 60 years, it's proven to be safe, effective, and easy to handle. It doesn't rely on water to retard fire. It actually chemically reacts with the fuel when heat is applied to render the fuel inflammable. It does not support glowing or smoldering combustion like many other chemicals, which may slow a fire down, but the fuel will continue to be consumed through smoldering combustion until there's actually nothing left but ash.
And you've tested other chemicals as fire retardants in the past. What did your team find when it tested magnesium chloride as a fire retardant? And how did it compare to phosphate?
We tested magnesium chloride about 15 years ago, and what we found is exactly what I just mentioned. The Forest Service, they conduct a fire test that evaluates chemicals or formulations to determine effectiveness using two different types of fuels, pine needles and excelsior, and they compare those results to diammonium phosphate, or DAP, which is used as the standard. And the standard is a 10.6% solution of DAP. So when you're comparing products next to it, what we did is we tested a 10.6% solution of magnesium chloride, and we found it was not effective at all. So we continued to increase that concentration until it met the DAP equivalency. And what we found is it required almost 2 times the amount of magnesium chloride to meet the results of the standard DAP. And the requirements of the test could be met at that point in time with almost nearly 20% solution versus a 10.6% solution. We also noticed that after the burn test was completed, the fuel continued to burn until there was nothing but ash left. The DAP-treated fuel did not do this, and although it had burned, there was a significant amount of fuel that was left and no smoldering occurred. There really is a reason why phosphate is used as the standard in a fire test, and it's because it's the most effective.
Now, phos-chek LCE20W and phos-chek Fortify are both offered by Perimeter Solutions as ground-applied fire retardants. Can you tell us a little about the advantages of using ground-based retardants for wildfire prevention and protection?
Yeah, so LCE20W and Fortify were specifically developed for ground application. Both are uncolored, so they can be used in areas where color is not desired or needed. These products were fully qualified last year by the U.S. Forest Service and placed on the QPL. They can be used by agencies such as utility companies or homeowners to add an extra layer of protection during the fire season. It's something that can be applied earlier in the season. Phosphate fire retardants do not rely on the water they contain, so it could be applied several months ahead of the season. We wanted to develop another tool that could be used to prevent the start of fires versus actively fighting them. With a constant increase in the wildland-urban interface, it's just more important than ever to have as many tools as possible to fight fires before they even start. These products can be and should be used where there is a high probability of fire starts, such as along highways, around utility equipment, and they can also be used when aircraft are grounded and they can't fly. Oftentimes, it's too smoky or it's too windy, and the air tankers can't get up to actively fight the fires. But as long as there's access, we can always use a ground-applied unit to continuously apply fire retardant.
Right, and with wildfire season increasing in length and in intensity, what steps is Perimeter Solutions R&D team taking to help the fire safety industry deal with the challenges that presents?
Our team of chemists are constantly innovating and looking for ways to improve and develop new products. The products we develop and provide to the end user are the safest and most effective available, and we will continue to develop more tools to help prevent the spread of fire, whether that's improving the color because maybe there's more and denser smoke in the sky. So can the pilot still see those lines so they can tie in? Is the product being handled properly? Is it easy to handle? Is it coming out of the hose and into the airplane properly? And we always take those types of things into consideration, especially with the demand getting higher and the season lasting longer. We just need to make sure that our products that are touched by everybody, starting from manufacturing all the way until it's delivered out of the aircraft, is the best that it possibly can be.
And before we let you go, is there anything that we didn't touch on today that you'd like to cover?
Yeah, there's one more thing. I'd like to say that we take our jobs of product development very seriously. This industry does not offer second chances, and when lives are at risk, there should be no compromises. We talked a lot about our products today and how we develop them. We have a 60-year track record, and we have always done our own research and product development. We've never used outside labs to develop products, and Really, it's because we don't feel outside lab will ever understand to the degree that we do what is at stake. And nor do they have their experience. I mean, our R&D team has a combined 40 years of experience, not just in product development, but in specifically wildland fire chemicals. And so 45 years of experience, you just can't get that from an outside lab. We listen and understand the needs of the people that deliver and use our products. I'm just really proud of our team for taking ownership of that and being involved in that every step of the way.
To find out how we use our experience, responsibility, and integrity to deliver trusted solutions that help improve firefighting performance, visit our website at perimeter-solutions.com. That's perimeter-solutions.com. And learn more about our solutions that save property, natural resources, critical infrastructure, and lives. Please join us again for another episode of Solutions That Save, a fire safety podcast from Perimeter Solutions.